Hello everyone, and I should probably know by now that the 8th Doctor is my favorite Doctor, because if you didn't know it, then I'm really surprised, because I talk about him all the time in all of my videos. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought I would review all of the audios in order. Not in this video. Well, kind of, because, well, today I'm going to review, all of his audios from Storm Warning to, Zagreus, and then in the next episode I'm gonna review the Divergent stories, and then next I'm gonna review the the stories after the Divergent universe, and then I'm gonna do that until I've reviewed every single one of his audios, apart from the Lucy Doctor stories, because well they aren't really proper McGann stories. So yeah, let's start with Storm Warning. Storm Warning is a really really good story, and it's like it starts with the 8th Doctor Big Finish era, because of course it's his first Big Finish audio. It introduces the companion Charlie Pollard, or Charlotte Pollard, or whatever you want to say. Yeah, and it's set about the R101. It's basically about the Doctor meeting Charlie and some Volta souls and aliens interfering in the R101 thingy, and yeah, it's really good. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I would highly recommend this, especially if you're new. It's only $2.99 if you want to download it. So yeah. Next story is Sword of Orion. Yeah, this is basically like Earthshock. It's not just like Earthshock. This is basically Earthshock, just with Paul McGann and some differences. Yeah. Basically, it's set in the future, and it takes the Cybermen quite some time to get into it. When they get into it, it's kind of like this epic reveal, even though they're on the cover of the story, and it's told in exactly the same way as Earthshock. Probably because they wanted to, well, make fans buy it, I suppose. Yeah. And the general fan opinion is it's good. It's not quite as good as Earthshock, but it's really good. That's what most fans think. And personally, I think Earthshock is a bit overrated. I still think it's a great story, but I think it's a bit overrated. And I would only give Earthshock a 7 out of 10. This story, however, isn't as good as Earthshock. And I don't think it's as good as Earthshock, so I would only give it a 6. It's not a bad story, but I think it drags a bit. Um, and it's kind of a bit like, Storm Warning just happened, and then this happened. It's kind of like there's a gap between them, like kind of like a couple of days gap, I think. And it's kind of like I think there should have been a story in between these two, and but it's not a bad story. I just wouldn't recommend this if you're new to Big Finish or anything like that. But it's not bad. But yeah. Next story is the Stones of Venice. Yeah, this is set in Venice in the future, and it's basically Venice is like sinking. I think the characters are like from like the 1500s, but it's set in the future. They act like it's the 1500s. Technology is like in the 1500s, really, and they talk like it's the 1500s, and they act like it's the 1500s. They are basically people from the 1500s in the future. Awesome. Yeah, I don't like this story that much. It's not. Once again, it's not bad, but I think it's rather cheesy and really, really weird. Personally, I give this a 5 out of 10. It's just about average, really. Not bad, but not great. Wouldn't really recommend this too much. I mean, it's not a disaster, but it's not really that great. The next one is Minion Hell. Yeah, this is a really hated story, but I personally disagree. I think this is fucking awesome. Yeah, it's so good. This story is basically the Doctor. Okay, yeah, fine. He loses his memory again. Um, that's a bit annoying. But and he doesn't really know who he is throughout most of the story. But yeah, it's the 21st century, early in the 21st century, and this new state has just been created in America. And the Doctor's lost his memory, and he's at an asylum where there are some people, and they want to well, basically lobotomize him. So yeah. Then he meets. Well, then of course he gets away and stuff. But there's this other guy with his memory, and and the Doctor and him, they like argue who's the real Doctor and stuff. And then of course the Brigadier is there, and there's this thing called the Hellfire Club, and they worship the devil, and the devil is apparently this alien. Yeah, I think it's really good, the story. I'll give it a 10. I highly recommend this. Maybe not if you're new to Big Finish, because it is really dark and, well, messed up. Yeah. The next one is Invaders from Mars. Um, I think normally fans think it's quite mixed. But it's about the popular War of the Worlds. Well, not popular, the famous War of the Worlds broadcast from the 30s, and it's set around that time. And basically, it's a really alien invasion the same day that the War of the World broadcast was there. So it's yeah, very interesting plot, really. Quite obvious. I mean, yeah, quite a what do you want me to say? Easy idea to get, if you know what I mean. Like quite a like it's unique, but it's not extreme like controversial or anything like that. It's just a normal story. It's really good actually. I really like this one as well. I've given 8 or 9. I highly recommend this. Yeah. The next one is the Chimes of Midnight. This is pretty damn dark. This is, well, almost as dark as Chimes of Minion Hell. Really, it's a fan favorite. Everyone loves this, and yeah, I think it's a bit overrated, but it is really really good. It's really a really good story actually, and I would highly recommend it. Um, it's about this house that's like in a time loop thingy where people die. Yeah, that's basically what it's about, and the deaths are rather dark because there's a person that suffocates on plum pudding and stuff. So yeah, it's rather dark. Really good story, and I would really recommend it. The next one is the Seasons of Fear. Yeah, uh, spoiler alert, I guess. This features the Naimon, Return of the Naimon. Yay. Yeah, but the Naimon, they only get introduced to it like in part 3, towards the end of part 3. I think it's cliffhanger actually. Yeah, it's about this guy the Doctor meets who's immortal, and he says he's killed the Doctor. Then the Doctor tries to change that really because he doesn't want to die, and then that's the reason why the guy thinks he's killed the Doctor. But then of course the guy, yeah, the Doctor fixes it. I'm not gonna spoil how that happens because spoilers really, and I don't think you want to know. Okay, next story. Embrace the Darkness. Yeah, Embrace the Darkness is about some aliens that don't understand the concept of, well, eyes really. They don't understand what like being able to see stuff means really. So they burn people's eyes, and it's set in this really really dark place where there's no light, on a space station, and really enjoyable. Drags a bit, but overall I think it's a really good story. Probably an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's quite good actually, really good actually. The next one's Time of the Daleks. Yeah, this one's a bit like View of the Daleks, really, quite a lot actually, because like it's in the future, and Shakespeare, no, yeah, Shakespeare, he's disappearing from time, so the people of Earth want to know why, and then the Daleks, because well, they're trying to invent a time machine, and the Daleks, they're like in an alliance with the Daleks. Yeah, not really the greatest story, but it is quite good. It's quite similar to the Evil of the Daleks, but I would give it probably a 7. It's quite good. The next one's Neverland. This is basically Zagreus, just part 1, because Zagreus was like 2 stories. Um, it's got nothing to do with the story in Neverland. It's about well, it sets up Zagreus really. It's kind of the end of this Charlie era. And basically Time Lords interfere because Charlie is, well, she's not supposed to be alive because she was supposed to be R101 and she's supposed to be dead. Then they go into this thing called, where there's like this thing called anti-time, and they find some stuff. Then there's a cliffhanger, and let's move on to Zagreus. The cliffhanger gets resolved in Zagreus, even though Zagreus was made over a year later. So yeah, people really had to wait. Nope, this isn't a multi-doctor story. It's not. Really, it's not a multi-doctor story. You might be thinking, well, why are the Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy and Peter Davison on the cover? Well, because they're in it, but they don't play the Doctors, because basically it's set inside the TARDIS, basically, and the TARDIS generates stuff that happens so Charlie can see what happens, basically. Um, Nope, Zagreus isn't actually a real person. He's just like from a nursery rhyme, really, and more of a concept. So it's basically about Charlie having a great adventure inside the TARDIS, and the Doctor being quite insane and believing he's Zagreus, even though Zagreus is a fictional character. And then, of course, um, Charlie sees some stuff happening. Like, she sees the creation of regeneration, well, the idea of regeneration. She sees some stuff about the vampires and stuff. We see some stuff, and of course, like, the TARDIS uses faces she's familiar with to create people. So, yeah, that's why the Doctors are some of the characters. Overall, this is messed up, but pretty good. I do like it. Neverland and Zagreus as a whole story, I would give it an 8, actually. I do like it as I would rate it as one story because it's kind of one story, I guess. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time for another video. Bye, everyone.